Hey, what's up guys? We're back with another LS tips and tricks video. All right, so now we're going to talk about how to take basically a ceiling tile that you have to cut. So this is a half piece. I mean, it should be half. This should be 24 by 24. Or an end piece. This really works for anything, but I just kind of want to show you how to cut it. So rather than saying, oh, it's just half, I just need to cut it exactly in half. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It definitely doesn't if it's like along the edge. So the best thing to do is to actually just remove the current tile, you know, whether this is stained or whatever, and we're going to get it on the ground. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our full tile, and there's a couple ways you can go about it. You can either mark it with a pencil or just put the other one on top of it. Line that edge up, make sure everything is nice and square. And the best thing to do is just to use the utility blade. So I'm just going to run it down the edge of that so I know it's an exact replica. So there's my line. Now I don't need to cut all the way through, because once it's cut most of the way through, I can just kind of hit it with my knee, breaks open, call it good. There's some of these little stragglers. Run this down, and there's our half piece. So we have our cut piece. We'll go ahead and pop it back in there. Looks like one side is a little bit too wide, so I might need to rotate it. There we go. So this is actually a pretty good example of sometimes you really got to enable it, and it may be worth me popping one of these corners of another one. Push it down, and that's it. So while we're on the subject of ceiling tiles, you'll notice that these two look a little bit different. This one's got some more of these longer squiggly lines. This one is really more just kind of polka dots. You can really see the difference. So this one is made by a company, USG, and the pattern is called Radar. This one is also by USG, but for some reason the pattern is called Fifth Avenue. Now it's really obvious down here, but you can definitely see the difference right there. This one just has a lot more of those squiggly lines. So the two types that are most common that we use are USG Radar and Armstrong Random, which I know can get kind of confusing, but those are essentially the two different types, and that's why you want to make sure you have the right ceiling tile if you ever go buy a box, is because they can look different.